Hey Metalunans, I'm the real Manos, and I am starting the year with a NST3K review. I've been neglectful on those for a while, so I just wanted to start one off. Brought to you by my own comic book, Red Knight. Issue 7 just came out. You can buy it at either the Manos Publishing shop at Etsy.com or PrimalPaperComics.com. Your choice, but choose wisely. This episode is dealing with the MST3K movie. Now, I know what you're asking, faithful viewers. Hey, Manos, didn't you already review this fucking thing already? It's like, well, yeah, I did, but I have not discussed the Blu-ray. Lindsay and I just got a Blu-ray this Christmas, and this is our first one, so pretty exciting. It is not only the Blu-ray, but it's one of these cool combo packs where it does come with the DVD version. And let's see, it has what the previous DVD version didn't have. It does have some special features, which is one of the reasons why I actually held out. I didn't have the DVD version because I just felt like, oh, there's no extras on this. I'm kind of an extra dork, especially when it comes to things I really love, like MST3K. So I decided I'll just wait until something comes along. This year, we got it. And this has bonus features. This not only features the Blu-ray DVD versions, but it has the making of MST3K, the movie, the Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie Motion Picture Odyssey, This Island Earth, 2 years in the making, and the original theatrical trailer. The original making of the MST3K was actually, it looks like something that was produced at the time, you know, because by around the 90s, pretty much there was always some kind of small documentary behind the scenes making of, and this was no different, where you get to get some of the interviews of the cast and crew promoting and talking about the project, and Trace Bly looks a lot like Dr. Johnny Fever. He looks very cool, and I don't know, I guess he had his sights on LA at the time, so he was all ready to look cool. And the next making of is a very different one. It's a more retrospective one made years later, where the cast and crew talks about the production and the nightmare of getting this thing out there. Because it was an interesting odyssey that they had some problems because the studio, they had, you know, despite the fact that they were on, I think, 6 seasons and very successful. Matter of fact, at one time they were Comedy Central. So now they come to movie studios and they're treated like they're less than nothing. They have really no respect built up at all, which definitely shows you the attitude, especially in the 90s, the film industry versus the TV industry. Because one of the things, they've done, like, I think 100 of these. I mean, this is one. I mean, if you want to think of it, this is one episode. They've done 100 of these. And they come to the studio, and the studio basically is telling them how to do this, which is hilarious. People who haven't even seen the show are telling them how to riff, or telling them how to write jokes. And it was... it's an amazing process to listen to, and you know, every time I hear things like this, it amazes me that any good movies can be made in this kind of system. And of course, it talks about how the studio was very interested in Bob Wire, actually more interested in Bob Wire than putting this through, which is hilarious because this is now finally remembered, and Bob Wire is Bob Wire. It's the Pamela Anderson film.
Barbed wire.
Barbed wire. I call it barbed wire, but it's barbed wire. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, it's not. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Pamela Anderson's launch into film career as an A-list film action star and whatever. And nobody liked it, and because it's terrible. So you know, haha. They actually put a lot of money into that, and they put as little money as they could to this, and they barely released this. They kind of dumped it in theaters. But the joke was, every theater this was in, it did very well, versus the 1,000 or 2,000 theaters Barbed Wire was in, didn't do very well. So hey, you know, you make your choosings, movie studios. So yeah, it's really interesting to listen to all the interviews about this, because now they're, unlike the original making of, they have some time between then and now. Now they can actually talk about, their feelings on regarding this. Then we go to This Island Earth, which is the making of the film that is talked about, and both documentaries talk about. Oh, actually, I'll get to that. The documentary talks about the whole making of This Island Earth, and what it took to get the film off the ground, what the filmmakers were hoping to do, and also the time in the 50s when science fiction was kind of getting off onto this more kind of Universal was breaking away from the horror thing, and the sci-fi thing was really taking off in the 50s. And this was the studio's attempt at doing something a little more intelligent rather than giant space bugs and stuff like that. And the film isn't actually that bad. It's not a Manos. It's not a Red Zone Cube or something like that. And let's see, Joe Dante is talking about it in the film, and some of the talking heads like Joe Dante were a little irritated that MST3K kind of like dumps on the movie. And they actually cut it. The MST3K film is actually shorter than This Island Earth by, I think, 10 or 20 minutes or something like that. And they discussed that. And if you watch both documentaries, you'll learn that that was actually more of a studio thing. The studio basically threw their own film under the bus, which is hilarious. Because when they went with Universal said, "Oh, it's got to be one of our films." So they're like, "Okay," and then they wanted them to cut the movie as much as possible, because what MST3K tries to do as best they can on TV is show the movie as it is. Of course, they have to cut for time and for content in case they have something really obscene in it, like Side Hackers has that rape scene in it. They can't show that. I was actually, I don't know if you watched this, but Cinema Snob did a review of the MST3K. No, we did the riff tracks, the recent riff tracks, and he talked about Side Hackers a little bit. And he'd seen the rape scene from Side Hackers, and Cinema Snob has seen like all sorts of hard edge films, and he said that's hard to watch. So keep that in mind. So yeah, they have to occasionally cut for content. But this was a film. They could have shown the whole film, but the studio kept on cutting. Kept pressuring them to cut. They even got notes just saying that, which is kind of funny. It kind of almost makes MST3K the bad guys, and as far as like showing the film as it is. So I do recommend, if you get a chance to see The Silent Earth, I think you should give it a shot. Because believe me, it's not Coleman Francis. It's actually a decent film. But nevertheless, this is fun. Of course, the Blu-ray transfer looks great. Also, the cut scenes. This has cut scenes, which is one of the reasons why I held out for this edition, because I had heard of a couple of cut scenes that didn't make it in the movie. There's a whole bunch of riffs, and they were cut because of time, which is too bad, because there's quite a few good jokes in those riffs. There's a whole scene where they get hit by... In the satellite, Mike the Bots are in the satellite Love, and the satellite is hit by an asteroid, and the robots save Mike, which is a really fun and actually kind of touching scene. So it gives them kind of a character moment, and it has an alternate ending where the mutant is teleported over to Dr. Forrester and kills him or kicks his ass or something like that. The MST3K writers preferred that. But the studio wanted the more party scene. Frankly, I thought both worked for me anyway. I thought both fit into MST3K. But the writers preferred the mutant version, so you should check that out. I love this. This is definitely a hard recommend. I mean, definitely you should check this out. If you're interested in MST3K, actually, this is the price of, standard DVD, Blu-ray. if you're curious about MST3K, this is actually a pretty decent way to get into them and check them out and see what they're all about, rather than buying one of the huge, you know, giant box sets that are like, 50, 60 bucks and have 4 episodes on them, and you go, well, let me get this. Oh, it sucks. I hate it. That's a lot of effort. This you can just check it out or rent it. Highly recommend it. I'm gonna give this box set 5 RAM chips. It's a good episode of MST3K. It's not as if you compare it to like some of their best episodes, like Manos or Space Mutiny. It's not as good as those, but it is a pretty solid episode. The riffing is fun. The jokes aren't as obscure. That is because of the studio, but you know what? If it's welcoming in new fans, that's fine. The jokes get nerdier in the regular episodes anyway. I think that's it for now, so until next time, push the button, Lindsay.